Welcome. I'm Joe Catrambone, CEO of the Stewart Martin County Chamber of Commerce and host of Talkin Business. This is a switch, but I'm interviewing an interviewer today.
You're in my seat.
It's something, yeah, I'm in his seat. So I'm going to try and get him to talk. I mean, it's not going to be a problem getting him to talk about things, but I may have to try and steer him in the right direction. But anyway, I'm honored to have Wayne Filowitz as my guest in his studio today to talk a little bit about his passion for the chamber. And he's been a member, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years. And I've been with the chamber 5, is it? Okay, and I've been with the chamber. Three. Oh, wow. It seems like forever.
Yeah, it does.
So I've been with the chamber since 1989. And obviously have seen a lot of members come and go, and they still stay. But this man, I'm going to guess, has probably referred and sponsored more people that have joined our chamber because of him and because of, I don't know how he does it, but I know he has a passion for the chamber, and I'd like to, let's talk about that. Is that okay with you?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
pretty easy and simple. If you love something, you focus on it and you make it work. If it worked for me, as much as I didn't want to be a part of any chamber. Okay, I left one chamber miserable and was pushed. I didn't join. Just so you know, and you probably remember, I didn't join the Stewart Martin Chamber.
I know that.
You
I was dragged in.
I was
kicking
dragged
and
in, and the person that brought me in didn't tell me, paid, didn't tell me. But I've been there 3 years, and it's been a blessing for me. And people think that, oh, well, you did really good financially. Yeah, I did well financially. Can't complain about that. But I've made some of the most amazing connections and friendships and you can't buy that. Okay?
Absolutely.
You cannot buy that.
You can't.
So, is it easy for me to bring people in? I do a ton of interviews here. And not everybody that comes through, and I don't mean to be bad, belongs in the chamber. And I don't invite them. But I love what the chamber's done. I love the people in the chamber. And the people that I bring in will benefit the chamber, and the chamber will benefit them, which makes it a win-win. And that's always what I'm looking for. So it's easy for me to invite people.
And I know that, and you've told me that before, and I appreciate that because, first of all, not everybody, especially in a startup business, can afford to join the chamber. So that could be, that's obviously an issue. But you get it. And we talked a little bit earlier and if you don't have the money, you don't have the money. But if you have the money, just our giveaways as joining the chamber, the free ads, the listings, the things of that nature are worth much more than the annual dues.
I didn't know that until recently because I didn't join.
I know. Well, see, because you were a hardhead.
I never used all those things because I never knew they existed.
Right. So you never got the big presentation from Amy.
Yeah, I got it 3 years later.
Yeah. Well, but you still managed to take advantage of some of the offers that we have to offer.
Those are just the perks.
Yes.
If that made you make the decision to join the chamber, I hate to say it, those are not the right reasons. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
In 3 years, I've missed 2 events. One, I was in the hospital for a stroke. Tried to make it, but I didn't. And the other one, I was sick. But 3 days after the stroke, I was at a ribbon cutting. After my surgery, I was at a ribbon cutting. And you called me at night and you asked me, do I have a death wish? And I thought you had a lot of nerve because you would do the same thing. You have to have that quality that, what are you going to do, be home and be miserable? Or be out at least doing something and feeling productive? You've been feeling productive for many years at that chamber. And it's probably one of the best run businesses, because the chamber is a business.
It is a business.
That you can imagine. And I remember you calling me recently and asking me if I wanted to be on the board. And I'm saying, yeah, no. Because it's just not me. But when I went to two board meetings already, and I've learned so much. And I've learned as a businessman how well that chamber is run and the people that are part of that chamber. And I learned how sharp you were in forgetting me, because that was not your sharpest thing, but in picking the people that are on the chamber, on the board. You know, when we're blessed, we have a lieutenant general, we have a lot of people, commissioners, financial people, which most chambers just throw anybody on the board, you know, just to have a board.
Well, you know, it's interesting. We have a governance committee made up of past chairmen. They're the people who recommend people to come on the board. I really don't invite people to be on the board because I make bad decisions. I brought a guy on, I don't know, 15 years ago. He tried to get me fired. So I make bad decisions. So now that's not to say, and the governance committee is great because these are past chairmen and chairwomen who've been there, done that, and they know what it takes to be an effective board member. And it's not just coming to a meeting and showing up. You do all the things. You were doing all the things as an effective board member should do before you were on the board. You come to all the events. You sponsor. You give this.
I tell you all the good and bad.
What would I mean? I wouldn't even want to think this is a benefit. Me being able to do this show, Talkin Business, with our members or with selected guests or elected officials, we couldn't afford to do it. You provide that opportunity for us. Does it develop membership? I think it does.
It surely does.
So-
But it develops, in my opinion, education for them to know that you stand outside the box of other chambers and that you're going to be there for the members. Because, look, and I talk about it, you know, I'm really down to earth, probably the most down to earth person on that board. You won't see me in a three-piece suit. I do dress up a little bit better for that and the but I'm not someone that most people dealing with me in the beginning would pick to be on the board, because I lay pretty low about what I am and who I am. I don't show off. I you know, but I'm passionate about certain things, and when I'm passionate, I'm either your best ally or your worst enemy. And you're right. I go to the breakfast. Go down. There's 80 people there. I can tell you that at least 10% of them I brought to that breakfast and joined the chamber. It's so important for me to see some of these people join the chamber, to the fact that they came in here, did an interview, wanted to purchase a copy for themselves, and I said, look, I'm going to discount it by X dollars, only if you use that money to join the chamber, because I know you'll make the money back. And it's that, and I'll get the money back, okay? Because I know what I did, but I can't answer for everybody. And I've had people come to breakfast and then didn't join, you know, and don't complain if you don't do what you're supposed to do for you. Don't complain.
Yeah, exactly. As I say, you get it, and by the time you bring a potential member to the chamber, they get it because you've instilled that in them and make them understand. And I don't keep numbers. I don't know the numbers. You probably do. I'm not sure of anyone, and I'm sure there are, but like I said, I don't keep track. But most people you bring join.
If they can afford to.
Okay.
Some can't afford to right away, and some join later on.
Yeah, and well, I think we even worked out a deal with somebody, didn't we?
More than once.
Yeah, so
Okay, and that's
we're willing to do that. It's because it's not all about money.
Right.
It's about what we can provide to that member or potential member or any business to make I use it all the time. My charge, my job is to be sure that people, businesses can conduct commerce on a level playing field. So we're involved politically.
Yes.
We have a political action committee, but but we have no qualms about going to our county commission and saying, look, this is egregious legislation. You're hurting our businesses. You can't pass this legislation, or you can't enact it. So, and you were just talking about it shortly. I mean, the thing I'm probably most proud of, and I have a lot of things for me to be proud of the chamber, but the thing I'm most proud about is our leadership program, which
You mean the thing I avoided for 2 years?
yes, and I knew that you would enjoy it, and that's probably why I bugged you or tweaked you so much about it, because I knew you would enjoy it. And we also spoke about what leadership is. It's not
Right.
and maybe it's crazy because everybody knows what leadership Miami is, or leadership Atlanta, or leadership Florida, leadership Martin County. We don't want you to go through leadership because we don't think you're a leader. You have to actually be a leader to go into leadership. So it's, as you know, we take a day a month for 9 months, and we go through every segment of the community, whether it be law enforcement,
Education, arts,
Yeah, I
history.
mean, so again, it's every segment of the community that we take you through, and you meet the leaders, you meet the constitutional officers, you meet the CEOs of companies. They're people that you should know, and that's what leadership does. And so that, to me, I mean, that's what I'm most proud of. the
And you
leadership
see,
program.
you see it one way, and I see it a little different.
Yeah,
Through
everybody
leadership,
does.
I learned more about me,
Of course,
Okay.
that's what it's about.
and I learned, and I connected with, I'll call them my team, my group, my 30-something people that are in leadership, and I've made some
class.
my class, I've made some great connections. We had some fun times, and I'm only 2 months into it, or 3 months into whatever it is. I couldn't do it in the beginning because I took care of my mom, and and I thought it would be something, because I don't have a lot of patience, I thought it would be something I wouldn't be able to deal with, but I love it. And I don't know that there's 9 different parts. I don't know that I'll love every part, and I don't know that everybody has to love every part. But you know what? There are pieces of each part. Either I love the part, or there's pieces of the part that I love. And I say I'm very transparent. So I say what I have to. So the first one was economics, and to me that was not my.
It's
not
not
my wheelhouse.
everybody's cup of tea.
Right. But
You learn something.
Tim does a disc profile.
Yes.
Okay, so I thought
That's
of the
how you
disc
learn
profile.
about yourself.
So I asked this. You fill out this thing, you answer a bunch of questions, and then you get a 55-page report. And I look at this report and I'm saying, my God, it's like 95% of me. And the first thing I said to everybody at my table was, I'm not giving this to my wife. Okay? I'm not giving it to my wife. It's too much. But when she got it, she laughed. But I learned, even in the short time, I learned so much about myself, which was kind of cool. And I'm blessed that I made it into the program, because not everybody makes it into the program.
That's correct.
Okay? So I'm pretty blessed of that. And when I tell my wife, hey, let's go here, and because my wife's an introvert, she says, no, I really don't want to go. But I push her to go, and at the end of the night, she's usually saying, I had a really good time. So you don't really know until you do. And that's why I invite people to the breakfast, because they've probably had crappy experiences at other chambers. And I don't want to talk about any specific chamber.
No, don't.
But
That's not.
but I've been in many chambers, and I've only found a couple that at least meets the mark of helping. And Stuart Mart Chamber is I'm in Port St. Lucie. I live in Port St. Lucie. I live in St. Lucie County. My office is in St. Lucie County, and yet I spend most of my time in Martin County, mainly Stewart, because it's become like home for me. And I pop if I don't have anything to do, because I'm like, I call myself semi-retired. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to stop at the chamber and say hello, because everybody there is amazing. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
And
I call our staff the dream team. I mean, they're amazing.
and I think that the chamber, is blessed to have the people that you have.
No question. I absolutely. I tell them all the time how great they are.
And you
Great.
still have hair on your head, so that's a pretty good thing, because
And I also tell them how good they make me look.
that's true. But like I said, for me, I've been so lucky to make the connections that I made, and to feel the way I do about the chamber. I get asked a lot to join other chambers, and there's a lot of people in our chamber that belong to other chambers. I can't do, for me and what I do, I can't do that. I can't have loyalty everywhere. But I get it, because if you're selling bagels, people from this chamber will buy your bagels. It's okay to belong to a bunch of chambers. For what I do, one is, it doesn't feel right. Two is, everybody that's in these other chambers have been through the studio and have met me, and you can't stop this engine of my business that's been 32 years, because if you wanted a video, Mary, who's in a different chamber, is going to say, hey, go to Wayne. I don't really need to belong to all those, and I need to focus on what I focus on. And I tell people constantly, I do things what's in my wheelhouse. We have an amazing studio. Could I do other things? Yeah, but you can't be a brain surgeon and a proctologist. Pick what you're good at, stick to it, do it, and you'll do it right.
Sometimes there's a connection.
Yeah, especially today, in this day and age. But I feel very comfortable most of the time, most of the places. Joining the board was a little different for me. Thank God I have Frank, and Frank is a lieutenant general, retired, and we're kind of like buddies. And we sat next to each other, and he was a little more comfortable because he sits on other boards. But me, it was like, all right, don't say anything. Just keep quiet and look at who's here and kind of get a feel for who they are before you open your mouth. Because, as you well know, I don't have a filter. My mom taught me well. And I don't care to save someone's feelings for them to have instant gratification when it affects the long term. Okay? So I look at the big picture, and I'll say what I got to say. And you and I talk, and I tell you, Debbie, Amy, all wait when an event is over for me to call them and tell them what I thought. And I call you anyway. And I'll tell them the good.
Whether I want to or not.
Right. I'll tell them what's the worst case scenario? They get mad at me, but at least they can fix or look into at least, and I don't have the answers, but at least what I said. And I don't have to do that. I have things to do in my life, but I want the chamber. I look at the chamber as if it's my chamber, and
That's why you got on the board.
I got on the board because she asked me to be on the board, and I'm going to myself, really, oh my God, I got to go to the board. But I know some people on the board, and I felt a little out of place the first board meeting, which I wasn't on the board yet.
Yeah, you just
And then-
trial run.
Right, and then I went last month to the meeting, and I felt surely a lot more comfortable, but still not a point where I'm going to talk yet.
Well, you know what? But to me, the worst kind of board member is they come to a meeting, they don't say anything, and then you don't see them until the next meeting. That's not you were doing the things board members should be doing before you come on the board. And that's what got everybody's attention. And that's why you were nominated to be on the board. Because you're passionate about the chamber. You think it helps you.
I don't think it helps me. I know it helps.
Okay, and you pass that on to your clients, who most times, if you feel it's appropriate, you bring them in and they join.
Right.
I mean, that's what board members are supposed to do.
But don't get too comfortable, because once I get on the board and go to a couple of meetings, I will open my mouth.
That's why we invited you. I don't
Because-
want you to sit there like a bump on a log.
No.
We need your opinion. Now, and you, I know you won't, but we don't expect somebody in a board meeting and start dragging down our staff or other members, or
No, that's not.
we want positive input. We want input. We don't
Right.
want you to sit there and just say, if you don't agree with something, that's where we take votes. I mean, if you don't agree with something, you have the opportunity, if the chamber is pursuing I don't know, a program, and you don't think it's right, you need to speak up and say, I don't think it's right. Now, and I know that you're not going to say, I don't think it's right, because you're going to say, because, ...
Right.
You're not going to say, that's not, we shouldn't do it, and then sit there like this.
No, because one is, I'm going to say what I have to say, and I'm going to be as diplomatic as I can be, and I'm pretty diplomatic about
You are.
what I do and what I
Yeah,
say.
I mean, you and I in a conversation is a little different than you saying something at a board meeting.
Right.
We have a personal relationship.
Right.
So you can get away with anything you want to say, and I can get away with anything I want to say to you, because we've got a different kind of relationship.
Right.
I don't have that relationship with all of our board members.
And I get it, and I tell you, and I surely, I talk to Amy as much as I talk to my wife. I tell her constantly about how surprised I am with how we connected, because I always thought of Joe as a suit, and I'm far from a suit. Okay.
But you don't see the people I hang around with.
Right. Nor do I see you when you're home, okay, and when you were feeding horses and stuff. But again, for me, you do things. Sometimes you got to come out of your comfort zone. And I tell the people who come here and come on the air, look, one of the miracles of connecting with you is that for some reason that force field on the Roosevelt Bridge that you never cross, we seem to have gotten you here, and you come once a month and do your stuff. Amy got you to come that first time.
Yep.
Okay, and we here.
No, not really. I mean, I came for you.
Okay, well, we here.
Amy convinced me how good it would be and we should do it, but I didn't come because Amy said.
No, I'm saying.
I came because I respect you, and I respect what you do and how you act as a member of our chamber.
But do you think back then, before you walked in the door here, that you'd be coming once a month? Probably not.
No, I didn't.
Because
no,
we sell the
probably.
sizzle. That's okay. The chamber. You join the chamber because it sells the sizzle. You go to the breakfast, you go to the lunch, you go to the after hours. We sell the sizzle. And here's a great example. I have a friend who belongs to a different board, different chamber, and he just got elected to the board. And you know when he'll be installed? In his T-shirt and jeans or shorts at a breakfast.
Okay, ours is a little bit different.
We had a gala, okay, because, and I'm just going to guess where your mind comes from. It's an honor to be on a board, and you respect the people that join the board and are elected to the board, so it needs to reflect that. I think it needs to reflect that.
Well, most chambers that I know do a dinner, a sit down, not like we do the gala because that's what it evolved to be. It used to be called our installation banquet. It was the installation of officers. You had a meal at 7, 8. We had a program from 8 to 8:30, and everybody went home. We developed it because people were there, they were coming, so they wanted to dance. So we ended up hiring a band. After the first set, everybody went home. We tried it again, then we got a DJ. And finally, I don't remember how it all evolved, but I was looking for something that when people came, they were getting dressed up, they're paying for a nice meal, trying to get them to stay longer. And that's when we came up with the casino night.
For charity.
Yes, yeah. So, but it's not real money, you know. I mean, it's the
No.
so, but it's fun because, as you know, people who won the most money had an opportunity to bid on some of those baskets were worth $4,500.
Right.
You know, there were gift certificates for restaurants. There were gift cards. There was bottles it was a various things. So
Shameless plug. There was truffles from Accidental Chocolatier.
yeah, and that's why everybody came.
Right. That's why everybody came. But it's ironic because when we give away stuff at the breakfast, and Vicky, Accidental Chocolatier, always donates, brings chocolate. Almost always brings chocolate.
And they are great.
And everybody loves the chocolate.
They are great.
And first of all, we're happy to help, always. We're always about giving back. But you're right. The problem that you have with casino night, now that you brought it up, is that we have one member that has a number of businesses, and they pull it all together, and it's going to be hard to catch up to them.
Oh yeah.
Okay?
Oh yeah.
It's going to be hard to catch up to them.
Oh yeah. I forget. I think $350,000 won was first prize. I had $125,000. I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to get something. I finished last.
Because you just, and again, winning a basket, that I like to gamble, so I gambled and had a good time,
I
knowing
do it
that
to have
it
fun.
didn't cost me any money.
Yeah, I used to give literally. Barb and I would go at the crap table and would stay till it closed, and then whatever money we had would give to somebody.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, we never.
Not in a real casino. Don't get me wrong. I'm
Oh,
nice,
no.
but not that nice.
Well, my niece and nephew, my niece had never, she didn't like to gamble. We got her on the crap table. I think we created a monster. She really enjoyed it. So,
A crap table is a great thing if you know how to play, and
yeah.
you have discretionary income. Because gambling is if you have discretionary income. You know, you should. If you're really going to gamble, pick a number, go with that number. When you lose it, walk away.
Well, Michelle happened to be winning, and she must have rolled the dice for 20 minutes. She had the dice, and I said to her, Michelle, don't misunderstand what's going on here. This isn't like Vegas. Isn't like this.
Was it her first? Okay,
It's the first time she's ever at a crap table.
just so you know, first time seemed to always have beginner's luck.
She was unbelievable. She kept rolling. Boy, she rolled a lot of good numbers.
But everything you guys do is always pretty cool because it's always set up for each of the members when they go to benefit in some fashion. And one of the things that I've learned from being a part of other chambers and stuff is I'm not a big fan of greed. That just doesn't sit well with me. So you used to do, before BW, before me, the network breakfast used to have a 50-50, and you took that away. And I was told that the chamber, meaning you and your team, don't want to have any real money exchange at the breakfast. It's not made for that. It's made to network. And and the stuff we give away is stuff that we bring in so that everybody can win something, God willing, and stuff. But I think that you have so many years of experience, and you kind of grow into something, and you've grown this into something that really is pretty amazing for its members. And that's what I find wonderful, to just see people when I go having such a good time. And they do, they have a good time. It's very rare that I see or hear a member complain, and nothing is perfect. But
Absolutely.
like I said, in 3 years I missed 2 events. It's not that I have nothing better to do, but it's become almost a social thing for me. And I know so many people, and I'm friends with so many people, and I've learned so much. I started off like everybody else, right here, level playing field, knew a couple of people, but not many. I became a trustee, which leveled me up, really there's a big difference between a member and a trustee, okay? And only because people look at me different. It's not that I was making more money, but people just kind of look at you different as your trustee. And you get to raise your hand when
Yeah.
at everything. And now I'm a a board member, and I'm proud. I wear my board badge more than I wear my own badge, okay? And I'm out, and people see me all the time, and I spend a lot of time in Stewart Martin County, but I spend time in St. Lucie County because this is where and people see me up here. But I think that you should be yelling at me that we're close to the top
I'm
of our
just going
time.
to say we're over. Is there anything we missed? You
This is
wanna
great.
talk
I
about?
own the studio, so I can say what I want. No, the only thing I really can say, finalizing it, is if you're an entrepreneur, just do a little research before you join anything, a chamber, a lodge, any kind of group, a networking group. Just kind of go, see what it's like before you make that determination.
test the water.
Right. You don't want to be married to somewhere where you don't want to be. Thank you for having me on my own
Thank you.
stage.
Anytime.
Everybody, I guess, I see I'm so used to ending it. Everybody have a great day.
Thank you.